We did the front struts, the lower control arm, and now it's time to do the rear shocks. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. I'm going to show you how to change your rear shocks on a 2014 Mazda 3. Now this is mounted in place up at the top. It's just got two bolts holding that in place. Those are 14 millimeter. But I'm going to start down below with this large 19 millimeter nut. It's got a deep socket here with a long handled ratchet. Just to break this loose. And we're going to take off the two nuts up here at the top. It's a 14 millimeter socket. Now the whole shock should just come off. Now this one's stuck on here pretty good. I'm just going to try to knock it off with this little pry bar. Call PB Blaster to the rescue. Let me see if a little chisel will help. All right, so I have tried as much as I can. I cut some of the rubber off here, and I cannot for the life of me get this to come off. Can't get the metal interior sleeve or bushing to come off of this bolt. So I've really got no choice but to cut off the shock. We'll pry the shock off of here and then see if we can take that out. Just remember to wear some eye protection if you're gonna use a grinder or something like this. There we go. Well, that was easy. Now we need to cut this rubber off. We got a lot of the rubber off of there, but unfortunately this is still stuck on there really good. Just trying to, even if I can't get the bushing off, I'd settle for just getting the whole stud out with the bushing, and it's just slipping on the rubber here still. I'll try it again. Now I'm going to also put an 8 millimeter on the end and put some pressure on it that way as well. So if we kind of attack this from two angles, we might have a better chance of breaking that loose. Oh, we got it. Awesome. We did it. The key was to do both at once. So we had the vice grips going and an 8 millimeter socket on the end. Let's just back this out and see if we can take it to the vise and maybe save the stud by pounding that bushing off of it. If we can't, we can always just order replacement studs as well. If you're in the Rust Belt, I recommend you do that ahead of time because chances are you're going to run into the same problem. All right, that looks okay. I just put it in the actual shock nut and it looks like it's still threading in okay. Just working with what we got here so we can get this one back on the road, but I think it's gonna work. I didn't even think that this would come out of this bushing. I really didn't think that that was happening, but we're not gonna have that problem in the future because I'm gonna put some anti-seize all over here. I'll probably put a little bit of thread lock on the threads that go into the mount just to make sure that that doesn't come out. Now we're gonna reuse this upper strut mount, so I need to take off this nut that attaches the shock to this mount, and that's a 12 millimeter socket. See if we can zip it off with the impact. If not, we'll have to get a ratcheting box end wrench and hold the end of the shaft. Let's see if this will work. All right, that worked. Okay, so here's the old shock. You can see this is the one we had to tear apart to get it off, but that's okay. All right, here's our new shock. Comes with a new nut. Just gonna slide this up through that mount and put the new nut on there. All right, this new nut is a 13 millimeter. All right, that's what I figured. We're just gonna spin that. So let me grab something so that we can hold that shaft while we use the ratcheting box end wrench to tighten that. Okay, I'm just gonna use this crescent wrench on this side. There's two flat spots on that shock, and I'm just gonna use this ratcheting flex head wrench with a nice little offset. We'll get this snugged down. All right, that looks good. Now, the torque spec that I found on this said 14 to 20 foot-pounds. So let's just say that we're pretty close to that just by feel. But this is all back together, and so this is ready to put back in the car now. Just gonna fit the shock right back down through here, and I'm just gonna get the mounts at the top started first. That's way too much. Perfect. And then I'm just going to use some of this anti-seize. We're going to make sure that that does not get stuck again. This is ready to go in now. Now I'm just going to use the nut. I know it's going to bottom out at some point. I'm going to see if that will help me thread this in to the mount down here. Okay, that's probably good. Now let's back the nut off. Now I had this all lined up on the top, but it looks like we have to go on the bottom bolt here first. There we go. And don't forget the washer here. Now the torque spec on this lower bolt is 59 to 77 foot-pounds. I've got it set to 70 foot-pounds. All right. Okay, the torque spec on these that I found is 17 to 20 foot-pounds. And a lot of people said to be careful because they break really easy. All right, well, it's late in the day. We finished the other side here too. Just wanted to show you that that wasn't a fluke or anything. The other side was just as stuck, if not worse. So the only way we could get that out was to use a large vise grips on this and then the 8mm socket on the end of that stud, and together we were able to back that bolt out, clean it up, and reuse it. So it's back together, it's done, but just want to make sure you guys all have the heads up. This is definitely not one of the really easy jobs. You know, sometimes things just don't go very well. Let me tell you, this was a pain and definitely took a lot longer than it should have. I know that there's a video or two out there on YouTube of how to do the rear shocks on a Mazda 3 in 5 minutes or less. This took us over an hour on each side just because of the hassle that we had with these sleeves or these bushings that were stuck to those studs. But we got it done, and of course we put anti-seize on these studs there, so hopefully that will never be a problem in the future. But I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I will get a link in the description where you can pick up some replacement shocks, along with some of the other parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.